This is Internet Business Mastery, episode 114.
In a world where bosses control your life and thoughts of escape fill your mind, where inspiration seems dead and cynicism rules the masses, you have a desire to break free. You feel the need to take control. Now, there exists a place where the secrets of freedom and wealth are given to those who believe. InternetBusinessMastery.com. Free your mind.
Hello and welcome to Internet Business Mastery Online at InternetBusinessMastery.com. I'm Sterling.
And I'm Jay.
And we're here to help you escape the 9-to-5 and live the lifestyle of your dreams by turning your life's passion into a profitable internet business, even if you're just getting started today. On this episode of Internet Business Mastery, we talk about our suggestions for your internet business focus for 2011. And in the quick tip, we have a resource for keeping up on the latest marketing strategies that has us excited. And we'd like to remind you that if you'd like to get a jump start on creating your own profitable internet business using our proven system, you can claim your risk-free trial membership to the Internet Business Mastery Academy by going to freeaudiogift.com. So it's been a while, Jay. What's going on?
Well, since it's the beginning of the new year, I'd like to make a prediction for this episode.
Oh, boy.
There will be no predictions in this episode.
Oh, wow. Well, we can make that happen right now.
Oh, wait. Or did I just break that promise? Oh, shoot.
At the same time.
Well, I thought we could do something a little bit different. I know we were chatting about this earlier, how there's tons of prediction posts in the blogosphere and stuff. And, you know, sometimes they can be a little interesting to look at, but I kind of always cringe a little bit when I'm reading these because really in the end, you know, most people have no idea, I think, really. You know, they're just throwing stuff out there to do a predictions post. And I've even, you know, looked back at some people's posts to see, and so often they're not even accurate. But probably the biggest...
Yeah, that's what you never see. You never see the end of the year when they go, here's the 18 things I was completely wrong on.
Right. And then, but probably my biggest problem with them, even if the person was 100% correct, is that they're usually not, in the way they're written, they're not very actionable. And so they're just kind of like fill your head with this noise of stuff. And I don't know, maybe it sparks some ideas and stuff, but it seems like, you know, for a prediction post to be really useful, and I rarely see this, you know, somebody would say, hey, I think this is what's going to happen this year, so here's what you should do about it, kind of thing, which I think is a good thing to do in any of your content. It's like, you know, tell people, you know, the information, but then when you're done, try to always tell them what you know, give a suggestion of what they can do next with it. But, you know, along those lines, in order to give some useful information, still kind of based on this idea of being at the beginning of the new year, we thought it'd be cool to talk about the things that we're concentrating on right now as we look forward to the new year and some of the trends or things that we just, you know, as we think back to what's worked really well in our business in the past, which is a good thing to do too. I always came up with 6 things that we could talk about that are what we're concentrating on right now and throughout 2011, and we can give specific, actionable suggestions for each of those things. And so that's kind of our effort to give you a beginning of the year, a bunch of ideas and actions to think about without just adding to the prediction echo chamber that's out there and all the content right now. How about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
And now, the features segment.
Okay, so here are our 6 suggestions for internet business focus in 2011. Now, you know, as you listen through these, they may or may not all fit what you're doing right now, and depending on where you're at. I mean, you are going to be the best decision maker for yourself. You know your business the best, you know your life and your goals the best. So we're not necessarily saying you have to do these 6 at all costs, but we definitely want to give you some ideas to think about. And each one of these is going to have a specific action that you can take if one of these in particular goes, oh yeah, that sounds like it could be important, or yeah, that's a good reminder. So, you know, as we go through these 6, just, you know, consider each and see if there isn't at least one that can give you something that you might be able to do right now to improve your business and move further to the next level in 2011. All right, so let's move through these relatively quickly because we do have 6 of them. But the number 1 is to focus on cash flow. 2010 for us was very defined by doing our biggest launch ever. It was the traffic attraction formula launch. In summer, we did the internal launch, which went very well. And then in fall, we took it out to all of our joint venture partners and they promoted it and got even more sales and more customers in that. And it was, for many reasons, a very cool experience for our business, and a lot of growth came from that, but it also takes a whole lot of energy, a whole lot of resources, and just kind of steals focus away from a lot of other things. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that we wish we hadn't have done that, but it also just hit home something that really we already knew, and hence this is why we built our business the way we did, and that is that if your business, even though, launches are great, they elevate your brand, they build your list, and they can make a whole lot of money all at once. But if your business depends on only doing, launch after launch or a couple big launches a year, then you're in trouble. You don't really have a business. You need to have something that actually brings in regular cash flow over time. As you're designing your business or as you're thinking of new income streams or where to take it in this new year, you really want to make sure that before you go chasing after big joint venture launches, it's important to focus on the fundamentals of your business, on the core cash flow. And this kind of reminds me of, back when I was in bands and we were chasing the dream and we were working really hard to market ourselves. All the little garage bands out there, they're always thinking, all I need is just a big label to step in and sign me and give me all that money. And then all of a sudden, bam, we'll be to the next level. But the truth of the matter is it rarely works out that way. There's rarely an overnight success. And usually those bands that do eventually get signed, it's because they were doing quite well on their own and they, worked hard to just build up that regular fan base growth that's constantly coming. And really, by the time that the record label comes to you, you probably don't need them anyway. And I think sometimes in our internet businesses, we can think, wow, if I could just get on the Oprah show, or if I could just have, that one partner, that one A-list partner come in and promote my product, then bam, I'd be made and I'd instantly be to the level I want to be. But if you haven't, concentrated on that core cash flow and those fundamentals of your business, then chances are that even if, somehow you got lucky and that happened, you're not going to be ready for that level of success. You're not going to have the systems and the habits in order to sustain that. And it can actually be a bad thing for your business to make those leaps too quickly. So concentrate on cash flow first. It's very, very important that you have that. So our new focus is to have kind of more of a perpetual launching of our academy and our fundamental courses that are out there. And of course, our academy's been there for a while and constantly on sale, but we're taking that launch-based process and turning it into something that's continually going on over and over again so that it's just a nice, regularly flowing sales funnel with new leads coming in the top and then cranking out into new customers at the other end as our community grows within the academy constantly month to month.
Yeah, and it's actually the best part about it is it's automated. So we build it once and then let the thing be automated just as part of our opt-in autoresponder type series. And my favorite part of the perpetual launch is the webinar. Now, webinars still just completely rock. We sold out half of our $6,000 per person platinum course with one little webinar. And the funny thing is we decided right before we did it that we were even going to offer it during the webinar. And I'm very glad we did. And I just love webinars still. And definitely add that to the fundamental list or, the perpetual launch list. All right, so here's some action. Make sure your business has an ongoing sales funnel and plan for regular cash flow. And as I just reread in Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Workweek, cash flow first, big paydays second.
All right, the second focus that we have in 2011 deals with the way that we manage and look at our time. Something that society really teaches us because so many of us are used to making our money in an employee type mentality, that dollars for hours, going to work, working a certain, punching the clock for 8 hours and then we go home, or maybe even punching the clock for 10 hours a day or whatever it might be these days, is that, we get into this mindset of it's just about putting in a certain amount of effort and then we can go home at the end of the day and we get our paycheck. And so it's what we call an effort-based economy. But as you make that mindset shift into entrepreneurialism, or really, I think that companies and employees should go more for this as well, you need to be thinking about results-based management of your time, meaning that the metrics that you use for deciding how well you've managed your time is, did I get done the things that were most important? What was accomplished? What was finished? What did I move towards next? Not just, hey, did I put in the 6 hours I wanted to do today, or the 2 hours on my business I wanted to do today, or the 8 hours at my job that I wanted to do today? And at the beginning of this year, we thought about this. This is something we actually have been learning a lot about in our strategic coach mastermind group, is results-based versus effort-based. And we thought, okay, how can we take that even to the next level? And something that for the last several years, Sterling and I have done is always tracked our time. We like to track how we use it so we can see, how did we spend it today, and are there things that we can adjust, and, do we spend enough time on money producing activities, and so on and so forth. But we found that we fell into this rut a little bit of well, did I just put in the 20 hours that we wanted this week, or the 30 hours that we wanted this week, or the 40 hours that, the 40 or 50 hours it gets to when we're in launch mode and things like that. And unfortunately, it kind of got into some more of a working because we just felt like we needed to, or just, a principle that definitely is very much true is that your tasks will always expand to take the time that you allow them. So we decided to try an experiment at the beginning of this year and not worry about how many hours we work in a week. Just deciding, okay, what are the 4 or 5 or 6 things that are most important to get done this week, the money producing activities and the management activities, and just making a list of those things, and then just working to get those things done. And if they get done, then great. We don't need to work anymore. And if it ends up taking 10 hours, awesome. If it takes 40 hours that week, okay. If it takes 20, awesome. It just doesn't really matter. So Sterling, now that we've been doing this for, a couple weeks into the new year, I was curious to ask, what kinds of mindset shifts have you noticed, or how has this affected kind of your, the way you've approached time and feel about the work you're doing in the business?
Well, being able to think to myself, is this a money-making activity, most certainly helps. So that's the big mindset shift. So if I'm, if I have a question on what I should do next, and I think, let's go look at the 1,023 emails in my inbox, which are mostly nonsense and ads and newsletters and stuff. Is this a money-making activity for me? Or should I, go write a blog post, which will bring more traffic, which could possibly mean more sales, right? So it's just focusing on that mindset of, is this the most important money-making activity that I can spend my time on right now? That's the big key.
Yeah, and I find, it's been a lot more fun. Of course, I love the business that we have, but we both talked about how towards the end of last year, we started noticing a little bit that some things were getting to be a bit of a grind, and so we wanted to stop and think, well, why is that? And I've noticed that, I'm a lot more excited to work now in the morning because it's more about, okay, what do I want to do most for the business right now? And not just, okay, I need to now put in 6 hours for my business.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk about this a lot more in our upcoming time management course. And incidentally, if you want to get some information about that, you can go to internetbusinessmastery.com/time. But this is all about, mindset shift from just doing works for work's sake versus actually, doing things that are going to get you as quickly as possible to what you want most.
Well, and I'm really, really excited about this one because being able to not think of it in terms of the amount of time, that was one of the things that was happening. It was like, okay, well, we're both trying to work the exact same amount of hours, and there was no particular incentive for making things go faster or being more efficient.
Right.
And that's kind of the downside of time, looking at 8 hours or thinking of it that way. Because if I in the morning now, I go, okay, I want to go do something this afternoon. Like a couple of days ago, my brother's an EMT up at a ski resort here in Utah, and they have like a sledding hill. And he was like, you should come up and check it out. And I was thinking, I don't want to do it at night when it's freezing, really freezing. So I was like, okay, I'll just go during the day. And so I just, it's one of those things where you can think to yourself, well, so that I can go do that, what are the 3 things I need to get done today? And how fast can I do them? And how can I most effectively use our virtual assistants to help with that process? Instead of going, I don't have anything to do till tonight, so I'll just fill the entire day futzing around with stuff and, just making the time lengthen. And it's a weird thing that happens, but that's why I'm just really excited about this results-based focus that we have now.
All right, so here's a couple actions you can take if you'd like to go more towards this type of time management. First of all, don't just track how many hours a week you work. Hopefully you're already tracking your hours. If not, then that's something you should start doing. But if you have been tracking how many hours you work, then definitely start tracking how you spend that time, and then choose a metric that will help you determine, what were the results you had that week and how well did you do in doing results-based work rather than just efforts-based work. All right, number 3 is just a good old standby. It has been a fundamental in our business, the thing that how we've built it from the very beginning. And, it was funny because I was in preparation for this episode. I did go out and look at a few different predictions posts in the blogosphere and stuff to see what people were saying. And I saw in a few different places, people like content marketing is going to become, businesses are going to realize that it's a lot, more important and they're going to make that a bigger part of their, of the marketing that they do. And so, I was just thinking, wow, well, it's like that's what we've been teaching and doing now for 5 years in internet business mastery. And that's because, it is what has always worked and it will always work. And people go online looking for great information, for entertainment, and for connection with other people. And if you're creating content that your target market, can't live without and is positioned preeminently in all the different channels they're looking at, then it just goes to follow you're going to get their attention and you're going to attract that traffic and get them to follow you on a regular basis so you can build up the relationship and find out their needs and sell good stuff to them. It's just a solid business foundation. So, content marketing, I guess, just to clarify for anybody who's not familiar with that term is things like blogging, or like we create our show as a podcast and on our blog on a regular basis, or putting articles or white papers or other kinds of just great content out there that your audience is going to be looking for and that helps them find you.
Well, and I'm glad people are finally thinking that 2011 will be when content marketing actually works.
The year of content marketing.
It's finally going to work. All right, so let's take some action. If you don't already have a strategy to create content on a regular basis, you should start now, even if that means just simply writing 2 blog posts a week and using Twitter and Facebook to promote it. Just go do it.
All right, along the lines of content marketing, number 4 is to take a better, an even deeper look at YouTube. I mean, YouTube has become the second largest search engine. And, it's nothing new that YouTube is a great place to have your content and to put it out there. But I know it's definitely something that we could do a lot better with. There's a lot more that we could do there, even though we've had a YouTube presence for a little while. And we re-syndicate our content out there. But admittedly, it's not something that we've put a whole lot of, attention into. And so we're going to be looking into showing up for long tail searches. YouTube videos are showing up inside of the search engines a lot more. And it occurs to me, maybe I should define that very quickly, the long tail searches. It'd be, like those 4 or 5 word phrases, how to start an internet business, and having a video that's, geared towards that and titled towards that and has the tags towards that. So if somebody's searching in YouTube or searching in Google that exact phrase, it's, very likely that your video is going to come up at top and get their attention. So, that's not a whole lot of real specifics here because we're still kind of, gathering some of the latest information and trying out some new things. And I'm sure we'll talk about that on episodes in the future. But definitely YouTube has, for me, been feeling like an important channel to take a look at. I mean, clearly content marketing has been working strong for us. Our audio show has been working really strong for us. So it's just, natural that YouTube, there's a lot more that we could do there for our business to strengthen it. And I think that's just true across all kinds of niches and all kinds of markets and audiences. So that's something that we recommend taking another look at, or that you start looking at right away if you haven't in the past.
Yeah, maybe I see a live Ustream Q&A once a month that goes on to YouTube after. I don't know.
No, not a bad idea.
All right, so action. Let's take some action. Create a keyword-rich username and channel on YouTube.
So here's an action you can take. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of different, we could spend a whole episode talking about YouTube, but one thing that's, in talking to a mastermind here in Portland that's working really well is having not just one channel on YouTube, but multiple channels on YouTube, and each of those channels has a keyword-rich username. And so there's evidence that you'll show up more in searches. So for instance, for us, internet business is a key phrase that we want to be found for. So having an actual channel, that works well for us because the name of our brand has internet business in it. So having a channel called Internet Business Mastery, actually that might be kind of long, but Internet Business Now or Internet Business Tips as the title. Or let's take another example. If you had knitting, if you named your channel Knitting Tips or Knitting Tips, Free Knitting Tips, something like that, then, for a search of knitting tips, you're a lot more likely to show up than if just your video has the keywords in it, but also if the name of the channel itself has the keywords in it. So there's just a quick, tip for you. But if nothing else, go out and claim 2 or 3 of those channels right now. Think of some keyword-rich names and go out and claim 2 or 3 of those channels. And then even if it's a couple months until you get around to posting some content on them, at least get them claimed and know that you have that in mind to start using for promotion in the future. All right, next one is the last 2 here are kind of the most exciting ones, new ones, cutting edge, shiny and new. I know that people like the new and nifty stuff, and this is definitely kind of early stuff that's what we're very excited about right now.
And finally, a shiny and new that has a massive value.
Yeah, absolutely. So number 5 is mobile marketing. Mobile has been exploding, especially with the popularity of things like the iPhone and the iPad. When you think about it, there are a lot more mobile devices and a lot more cell phones and smartphones and iPhones and things like that than even there are internet connections in homes, because every individual has phones now these days, and kids are growing up texting, and so it's just insane the amount of growth. So clearly a lot of opportunity there when it comes to mobile marketing.
Yeah, I'm unbelievably excited about this whole mobile marketing thing. I've already started and even gone to several times a mobile marketing mastermind group here in Salt Lake with a couple of internet business friends. I've gathered a bunch of newsletters on the subject. I even have a VA make a Word document out of the articles that I want to read, and I read it every single week and go through it with the highlighter and try and learn as much as I possibly can about the ad side of it. And just the marketing side and all the cool stuff that is there. And I mean, it is so new. I went in and looked at doing certain types of ads, and there are not businesses having ads yet. I mean, it's right at that the beginning of this huge wave that this is going to be. And I've even went through several of the very few courses that are actually out there on mobile marketing right now. I'm just breezing through this stuff because I'm so excited. Yeah, and I'm back into that super excited state of business again, where it makes me wake up early and I have trouble going to sleep because I'm just thinking about all the possible ways to use mobile marketing and being on that cutting edge of something again. Like we were on the cutting edge of the whole podcasting thing. And now here's this another thing like that looks like it could be even 10 times bigger, which just makes me incredibly excited. And really, rather than giving you the whole spiel here, I found a really cool video that explains why you need to look at the whole mobile world. And you can check that out at internetbusinessmastery.com/mobile.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities. I mean, it was interesting the other day. I was just driving in the car, listening to the local radio station, and they were doing like their top 8 at 8 or whatever. And all of a sudden in the commercials, a quick ad came up and said, "Hey, you're wondering what that last song was that we played? Well, just text song right now to 55555 or whatever the number was, and we'll immediately send back the title and artist of the last 3 songs that we played, and you'll be opted into our text messaging list to get special promotions and things like that." So, obviously building up a text list also along with your email list and your mailing list and your Twitter list and your Facebook, it's just another way to reach out and let people follow you. I mean, your list is everything. So, and you mentioned text ads. I mean, it's like going back to the early days of AdSense, which completely changed the landscape of marketing on the internet. And in those early days, you get cheap clicks and tons of traffic. And so that's the kind of thing, because not that many people have jumped on board. So it's definitely a lot of cool and exciting things. When you think about the text messaging thing, what's so cool about it is, I mean, if somebody texts me, I look at it immediately. It's like almost 100% deliverability and open rate. And so just a very exciting thing to think about adding into the mix of your list building.
Yeah, and speaking of the low price, like the old AdWords and AdSense in the beginning days, one of my friends in that little mastermind group that I started has built a list of over 7,000 people in the niche that he was targeting for a tiny amount of money. Now he has 7,000 people that he can monetize with the list that he just created. And he created it in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
I mean,
cool.
We just barely started getting into this the end of December. And here it is just, a few weeks later, and he's already got a 7,000 person list. Now, let's see, how long did it take us to get a list like that? It's a few years. So, to 2 weeks to get that it's just insane. And that's because of that deliverability. When I get a text, I automatically really look. Anybody that I converse with now that's not, let's say, on Skype, it's through my phone and the texting. So, I mean, just now is the time to start thinking about that. All right, so let's take some action. Definitely check out that video on how cool mobile is at internetbusinessmastery.com/mobile.
All right, and the final and sixth one is another cutting edge and exciting thing, and that is local search. And I mentioned earlier how in preparation for this, I was looking at a lot of the different prediction sites, and I wasn't surprised to see. I figured that I would probably see this one a lot, and that was local search. A lot of people saying how important local search was going to be. It's something like 40% of searches online have some kind of local indicator in there, like Portland dentist or, Tampa area chiropractor or, people looking for businesses in their areas or movies in their areas or whatever, services and things like that. So, it might not apply to everybody listening to this, and we're still looking at how this could apply to a business like ours, because of course a business on the internet kind of takes place everywhere. It's not like we have a specific office that people can go to. But if you do have a locally based business, it's really important to have a strategy that targets local search. I mean, there's Google Places, which is starting to explode and get more attention and show up a lot. I know lately when I search things, Google's getting a lot smarter about knowing that I'm in Portland and knowing when it thinks I want to see a map or see a business and, stuff like that popping up all the time. And it's insane how few of small businesses have actually claimed, their dot on the map and gotten their information in there and just made a concerted effort to get some basic stuff. I mean, look, like that's going to be top. It's going to show up right at the top of search engine pages if you're the one dentist in your town to actually go and claim your Google Places page. Again, not sure exactly how we can apply this. I mean, we're still playing around some different ideas to see how we might be able to apply this to, more global business like our own that's completely on the internet and digital. However, it was worth mentioning because I'm sure there's some very creative things to do there, or also there is a huge opportunity for consulting businesses on how to get into local search. I mean, one reason I'm very excited about it is I do some consulting with a local nonprofit dance company in Portland. And as I'm seeing some of the stuff pop up about local search, I'm going, oh, wow, they could just clean house if they just implemented a few basic things. And so, if you're looking for a way to boost your own local business or to maybe get some extra income as an internet marketing consultant, then definitely taking this local search and local marketing stuff, to your clients or prospective clients is going to put you way ahead of the curve.
All right, so here's how you can take action on this. We'll definitely have more information about this local side of it at internetbusinessmastery.com/mobile.
And what do you know? It's the same video as that last one. Incidentally, mobile and local happen to work together very, very well. So you get to go to one video and get twice. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Twice the excitement.
You get to go to one video and get twice the fun. Yes.
There you go.
All right. So there's 6 ideas for the new year, 6 things that we have piqued our interest. Some of them are some old standbys. Some of them are some new things we're trying. And some of them are cutting edge and so fresh and new that the possibilities are endless. So number 1 is just making sure you got that good old cash flow, not having a launch-based business. Number 2, results-based versus effort-based time management and productivity, going more for that results-based focus. Number 3 is content marketing, just always making sure you got a great content marketing strategy going. Number 4, looking into YouTube and getting more visibility in the world's second largest search engine. Number 5 is mobile marketing, and number 6 is local search. So even if there's one of those ideas that has piqued your interest, you can definitely, take that action, get going right away, and see if that doesn't bring you new and improved results in 2011. So a couple days ago, we got this really nice email. This comes from Graham McDermott of a company called Tiny Mammal in San Francisco, California.
Is that a hamster? What would
what's
be
that?
Tiny mammal?
Hamster,
gerbil.
Gerbil. Yeah, I'm not sure. Sugar glider.
Yeah, there you go.
So he says, I wanted to share an internet business breakthrough with you. I'm a longtime listener and fan of the Internet Business Mastery podcast. It's a breakthrough a rather long time in the making. It began several years ago while listening to the Internet Business Mastery podcast, hearing about an Academy member, Matt Campbell, and his iPhone programming business. In that episode inspired me to embark on my own iPhone development journey. Since then, I've taken the exciting steps of leaving my full-time job in software engineering in the gaming industry and started a business developing apps independently, and as of a week ago, am finally selling my first app on the iTunes App Store.
Yes.
I just hit the milestone of 500 copies sold, and I'm excited and optimistic that more are on the way. Thank you, Sterling and Jay, for inspiring people like me to awaken and to pursue their passions. Your work is truly meaningful. All the best, Graham McDermott.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
and
that's
by the
awesome.
way, email me. I've got some questions for you.
Right. Sterling's got mobile and apps on the brain, so
That's all I can think about.
Chat. So the name of his app is Weather Doodle. I actually downloaded it. It's a totally new way of checking out the weather using whimsical and animated visuals on your iPhone. You can find that at weatherdoodle.com.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go check that out since I'm so into this mobile and app stuff, which actually reminds me to remember to go to internetbusinessmastery.com/mobile and see what all the fuss is about with all this mobile stuff.
So, Sterling, clearly by now we know you've got mobile fever. And earlier in this episode, in fact, you mentioned how one of our virtual assistants puts together kind of a weekly report or some different stuff that you go to read on a regular basis regarding keeping up on mobile marketing. So I thought in this quick tip, maybe you could share how you are staying up with the current info on mobile marketing.
Yeah, just one sec. I'm texting. Okay, good. Okay, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'll put the main marketing newsletters that I read. Some of them are daily and some of them are, I guess, weekly or so. And I'll put those on the show notes on this particular episode, which is 114. So if you go to internetbusinessmastery.com and go to this particular episode, which is 114, you'll find all of those. And if you don't see it actually on the front page, just hit podcast and you'll be able to, see where the episode is. But I just wanted to give you a couple of things I read about today, just give you the headlines for them. This is the kind of stuff I'm trying to keep up on and the kind of percentages and numbers of things going on right now. One of the headlines was eBay mobile sales spike 300% in 2010. That was one of the things I read about. Pretty cool. Let's see. Another one is Apple's Mac App Store sees 1 million downloads in one day. I mean, this is just
very cool.
This is crazy stuff that's going on. And Google's AdMob, which is one of the ad networks that we're looking into, that network sees 2 billion ad requests daily. I mean,
2
these
billion
are
daily?
Daily, they're looking for that many ad requests. So this is massive, massive stuff. And I mean, it's getting to the point too where these big businesses are finding anybody that has lists in mobile, and they're willing to spend tens of millions of dollars just to buy these lists and stuff. It's just like, I don't even know what to relate it to. Gold rush before anybody knew, and you just happen to, know about it ahead. That's how I feel it is right now. So
right. Without
it being a prediction, it's more of just what I'm going to be massively focusing on. But I'll definitely give you those marketing newsletters, the mobile marketing newsletters that I'm looking at, so you can check it out as well. Now, if you'd like dozens of other resources such as this one, you can find them in the Internet Business Mastery Academy, along with video tutorials showing you exactly how we use them. To get a 30-day no-risk trial membership to the Internet Business Mastery Academy, visit freeaudiogift.com. That's it for this episode of Internet Business Mastery. Until next time, we wish you ultimate success in your internet business.
You've been listening to the iconoclasts of the 9 to 5 and the purveyors of freedom and fulfillment, Sterling and Jay. Sterling and Jay invite you to discover one of their most popular audio programs ever. The 3 pillars of designing your ultimate internet lifestyle. Visit freeaudiogift.com now and sign up for the free weekly Internet Business Mastery email newsletter. And you'll get instant access to this life-changing audio presentation, pulled directly from the content of the acclaimed Internet Business Mastery Academy membership community. Go now to freeaudiogift.com. Internet Business Mastery. Free your mind.